Monday morning, everybody. I am Paul. This is
Corey.
And this is your Monday morning devotion. How was your weekend?
It was wonderful, man. Just had a wonderful time, man. How about yours? How was Winter Jam?
It was long. It was raining a little bit when we first got there. We endured. We had a blast. I came home with the same amount of kids that we left with, and I find that's a plus. People tend to like it when they get their kids back the way they sent them off.
Yes, I would think so.
Instills trust.
I don't have kids, but I'd like to have my kid back the way I sent them off. You say you endured, though.
Yeah, speaking of endure, let's endure this intro. Alright, so welcome to Monday morning.
Welcome again.
And we are going to get things started as we always do, but maybe you need it a little bit more on Monday morning because you're still in bed, probably because it's 6 o'clock, and if you're waiting until the end of the day to watch this, then, whatever. He throws me off when he sneezes like that.
I'm sorry.
Let's watch some videos.
Did you say bless me? Where's my blessing? Alright, what's going on here?
We have a guy, we have parachute. He's running.
That's a parasail, Paul.
And he's taking flight.
Oh, man. He's taking some abuse.
There's some turbulence.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness gracious.
What's up next?
Oh.
What is up next? Okay, a pool, a hoverboard. What could go wrong?
Oh,
Get it. Oh.
What is she doing?
There you go.
I'm going in the pool.
There you go. Well, they're expensive, man. It's a dog playing putt-putt.
That's funny.
He's looking at the ball.
That's pretty good. Trampoline up.
My kids love trampoline. Oh, her head got stuck.
Oh, boy.
Right.
What's this
Out.
dog gonna do? Don't pull him
He's
out.
in.
Oh.
Well, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
That's why dogs are awesome.
That's right. Look at this. Look at this dog, man.
Monday morning motivation.
So, another great video. Some
Yes.
really great clips. What was your favorite snippet out of there?
Okay, first of all, I feel we shouldn't use the word snippet.
Well, let me explain the word snippet. I've heard it used before. The reason, my meaning from it is if you have a particular clip, indeed, that you like, then you just go in there and snippet it out. Snippet.
And I think we should go ahead and start the devotion.
Okay, well, we can do that too then. He doesn't like the word snippet or my meaning for it. Anyway, so the focus for today comes from the scripture, Genesis chapter 40, verses 1 through 23. We have another great story, as always. In the story, my interpretation, you correct me if you think I'm wrong, Paul, but I think what I'm getting out of this story is just, relying on faithfulness in God, trusting God's plan, and even when it looks like it's a dark time in your life, just know that it's a part of His plan for you, and God rewards faithfulness.
Yep.
You understand?
Absolutely.
All right, you ready to hear the story?
Ready to hear the story.
All right, let's hear the story, people. Focus. Here we go. Famous author, speaker, and Holocaust survivor Corrie ten Boom observed of her faithfulness to God during her time in a Nazi concentration camp. When a train goes through a tunnel and it gets dark, you don't throw away the ticket and jump off. You sit still and trust the engineer. Joseph chose the same approach to his own time of captivity and suffering. Rather than giving up hope, Joseph hung onto faithfulness. He continued to serve both God and his fellow prisoners, and as a result, God rewarded him with justice. We often hear, you reap what you sow. In a negative connotation, while it is true we eventually suffer the penalty of the sins we commit, the reverse is also true. If we sow faithfully, we will reap blessings, as did Joseph and Corrie ten Boom.
Perfect. Yeah, so if anybody had, in the Old Testament or the Bible in general, or in life in general, a reason to be upset, one of these people would be Joseph. He had seen some highs, but he saw some really low lows. I mean, he was working with the king, his right-hand man. He was at the very top, and then through a bunch of lies, next thing he finds himself in prison. And he's there, and can you imagine being falsely accused and then having to deal with the consequences in prison. I mean, you're in prison for something you legitimately did not do, and instead of sitting there and just woe is me and having a horrible, horrible time, he witnesses for God while in this prison. Okay, and it's really awesome. And he's going to interpret some dreams in the verses that we're about to read. And it's kind of long. I'm going to read through it really fast, but let's get the verses up on the screen. Sometime after this, the cupbearer of the king of Egypt and his baker committed an offense against their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was angry with his two officers, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker. And he put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, in the prisons where Joseph was confined. The captain of the guard appointed Joseph to be with them, and he attended them. They continued for some time in custody, and one night they both dreamed, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were confined in the prison, each his own dream, and each dream with its own interpretation. When Joseph came to them in the morning, he saw that they were troubled. So he asked Pharaoh's officers who were with him in custody in the master's house, "Why are your faces downcast today?" They said to him, "We have had dreams, and there is no one to interpret them." And Joseph said to them, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Please tell them to me." So the chief cupbearer told his dream to Joseph and said to him, "In my dream there was a vine before me, and on the vine there were 3 branches. As soon as it budded, its blossoms shot forth and the clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup and placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand." Then Joseph said to him, "This is its interpretation. The 3 branches are 3 days. In 3 days Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your office, and you shall place Pharaoh's cup in his hand as formerly, when you were his cupbearer. Only remember me when it is well with you, and please do me the kindness to mention me to Pharaoh, and so get me out of this house. For I was indeed stolen out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also I have nothing, or done nothing, that they should put me into the pit." When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was favorable, he said to Joseph, "Hey, I also had a dream. There were 3 cake baskets on my head, and in the uppermost basket there were all sorts of baked food for Pharaoh. But the birds were eating it out of the basket on my head." And Joseph answered and said, "This is its interpretation. The 3 baskets are 3 days. In 3 days Pharaoh will lift up your head from you and hang you on a tree, and the birds will eat the flesh from you. On the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, he made a feast for his servants and lifted up the head of the chief cupbearer and the head of the chief baker among the servants. He restored the chief cupbearer to his position, and he placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, and as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet the chief cupbearer did not remember Joseph, but forgot him." So that's kind of, it's an interesting story, because we still see Joseph in the worst possible conditions. He's in prison, and he is still being a witness for God. He's still performing God's work, even though he's in some bad situations. And oftentimes it feels like, even though we do good, and you're walking, you're running this Christian life, you're like, man, it just feels like I'm on a treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that video we saw of that dog. It feels like I'm on a treadmill and I'm running. You know, I've got the thing pegged out at 10, and I'm just spinning my wheels, not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but let's take it a step further. Even though it don't feel like you're going anywhere, are you gaining stuff by running on that treadmill?
Absolutely.
Absolutely you are. You're gaining endurance. Things that you can't see are taking place inside your body to make you physically stronger, even though it looks like you're going absolutely nowhere. Well, it's the same way in the Christian life. Sometimes it feels like you're spinning your wheels, but you have no clue. Those seeds, those tiny seeds that you're planting, to the friends that you talk to just people that you go to school with that don't feel like they're going anywhere. Well, the little tiny amount you're able to just plant that seed in them and talk to them about God, you have absolutely no clue what they'll do with it. You know, they might talk to somebody else about God, and then that person might talk to 10 other people about God, all because you know, several years ago mentioned God, mentioned Jesus, and what He means to you. So you never know the seeds that you're planting in your school, with your friends, parents at work. You know, something that seems insignificant might actually turn out to be something of huge proportions.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. What do you think about it?
I think that right there is a very good way to explain it. I think that in life we just have all these moments in our life where we just don't seem to be We're making all the right moves, but nothing seems to be changing. Through our eyes, everything is staying the same, or it could be getting worse, depending on your perception level. I know I go through it all the time, and I hear about other people going through it all the time, and it just goes through, you're not going through the motions. You're actually growing as a Christian. You just have to, just like the lady was saying in the story, you just have to when a train goes through a tunnel, the tunnel's dark, you gonna jump off the train? I mean, you have to really just sit there and think about, I cannot just quit. I can't just quit. There's too many people in the Bible that were dealt way, way, way worse hands than we could probably ever think about being dealt. And they stayed strong. They remained steadfast. And in the end, they were rewarded. You will be rewarded too. You just have to just keep on trucking. You have to keep on holding on to those Christian values. Stay faithful, because trust me, we talk about pleasing God all the time, and one of the things that God loves is for you to keep your faithfulness, for you to maintain, for you to verbalize in prayer. Say, God, I don't know why you've got me going through this right now, but I'm just going to, take my lumps, and I thank you for this moment, because this is an opportunity for me to show you my faithfulness. You verbalize stuff like that, oh my God, I believe that our good Lord loves it. I believe He loves it.
Absolutely. That is good stuff. He wants you to rely on Him.
Exactly.
Okay. Hey, so this is Monday. We will see you tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, 6 o'clock, same time.
Same time, all the time.
Not all the time, because we're not on Saturdays or Sundays.
What I mean, you know what I mean.
And we'll see you in the morning, all right?
We'll see you in the morning.
We'll see you in the morning.
God bless you guys. Thanks.
God bless you guys. Thanks. What's this? We're going to shorten this down.
Listen more. So, what another great video.
Yeah, man. Start that again. 1.
Good Monday morning, everyone. That was better than yours.
So what's today's devotion on?
Today's devotion on